We have two hurricanes in the Atlantic Basin on this November 2nd of 2022. Good morning, I'm Mike Nasa with this late morning update on Hurricane Lisa and Hurricane Martin. Hurricane Lisa is approaching the coastline there of Belize, looking like a little tiny thing, a Category 1 storm. Forecast, unfortunately, to continue to strengthen into landfall. It could be approaching Category 2 strength. And then Hurricane Martin is forecast to become a Category 2 hurricane and then become a very powerful extratropical cyclone and a large one way out here over the North Atlantic over the next couple of days. Let's start with Hurricane Lisa. As of 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern, Lisa was at 17.2 north, 87.4 west, winds of 80 miles per hour, so it's a Category 1 hurricane, and it's moving west at 14 miles per hour, 987 millibars on the pressure. So a solid Category 1 hurricane should make landfall later this afternoon or tonight in the general vicinity of Belize City, maybe a little to the north. I'll show you the radar in a second. We have hurricane warnings in effect for the entire coastline there of Belize and also further north near Chetumal, Mexico, with the possibility you guys could get clipped with hurricane winds. Lisa should move inland and dissipate, and whatever low pressure is left will meander out here over the southern bay of Campeche. There will be a strong trough near Texas shearing it. It should not be a problem for areas there of mainland Mexico or the United States, but of course we'll continue to watch it. But in the near term, we have a landfall that will occur along the coastline there of Belize. I sped up this satellite loop to show you. It doesn't look all that impressive to me. I mean, it's not that bad for a Category 1, but some signs maybe that it's a little disheveled here on the southern side. Not exactly perfectly symmetric, but the center is bursting. Right in here is where the eye of the hurricane is in this general area, and that is moving on off towards the west or just north of due west, and that should make landfall somewhere here along the area of the Belize coastline. Although, like I said, if you're further north in the Yucatan, you could also see a landfall if that track scoots a little bit more north over the next couple of hours. The radar out of areas there of Belize show the eye getting better organized. Definitely a hurricane of Category 1 intensity, headed for areas there of the little keys right off Belize City. Belize City right in here, areas there of Monkey River Town and Punta Gorda further south, and then further north here in areas of the Yucatan, you could be impacted. A lot of heavy weather on the northern side there, and so that will impact areas, this island here of San Pedro as well, right off the coastline. You guys are about to get hit. Here's another perspective. This is a little bit closer in, and again shows the eye of the hurricane making an approach to the coastline there of Belize. Hurricane Martin, as of 11 a.m. Eastern Time, winds up to 75 miles per hour, and the pressure down to 983 millibars. So this is 4 millibars stronger, lower that is, than Hurricane Lisa. It's at 35.5 north, 50.0 west, moving east-northeast at 26. Now, it will get caught up in a trough. It'll make that turn. However, it is expected to become a very large hurricane and then a large extratropical cyclone in the North Atlantic and be spinning here throughout the weekend and early next week, way out here in areas of the North Atlantic, and you're going to have to watch it, especially for shipping interests. There's the eye of the hurricane looking better organized. It definitely is a tropical hurricane right now, has the deep convection on the northern side wrapping around, and the Hurricane Center notes that as it interacts here with these troughs off in the North Atlantic, it could get a sting jet, sort of the shape of a stinger tail of a scorpion almost, and that will enhance the baroclinic intensification as the system loses tropical characteristics. So in layman's terms, it's going to become a really large, non-tropical system with hurricane force winds, but not before reaching about 105 miles per hour, a Category 2 hurricane, and right now Martin is the 7th hurricane of the season after Danielle, Earl, Fiona, Ian, Julia, and now Lisa. There's another look at Hurricane Lisa racing straight west. Now Lisa has the opposite from Martin. Lisa has ridging to the north of it that has continued it on that westerly motion, and that's why we're not going to have to deal with it in areas of Florida or the United States. The key messages with Hurricane Lisa as of 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern. Number one, there is a potential for life-threatening storm surge near where the center of Lisa crosses the coastline there in Belize and extreme southeast portions of the Yucatan starting later this afternoon, especially on that north side where that wind pushes on shore. Number two, hurricane conditions are expected along the coastline of Belize and southeast Yucatan Peninsula by later this afternoon. I showed you that radar of Hurricane Lisa closing in. Number three, tropical storm conditions are expected along portions of the north coast of Honduras and Guatemala in the next several hours, and over the eastern Yucatan Peninsula in the tropical storm warning area beginning this afternoon, and that's skirting the coastline there, those tropical storm winds. And of course, localized flash flooding is expected across portions of Belize, northern Guatemala, and portions of southeast Mexico. Rainfall is always the biggest killer with these systems. There's the latest information on Hurricane Lisa in Spanish. So again, we're going to continue to watch Hurricane Lisa as it makes its approach there along the Belize coastline. Category 1 or possibly a Category 2 hurricane. Rainfall a threat, flooding a threat, storm surge on the northern side there in Belize is a threat with this system. Stay tuned for further coverage of Hurricane Lisa headed for Belize.